Progress.
Welcome everyone to the Sunday edition of Pet Club 24/7, and I'm excited to be here with you all. We have a phenomenal opportunity. We actually work in two vertical markets that are, I think, unprecedented in the marketing industry. The pet industry is rapidly growing, and the pet people love to have their pets live stronger, longer, better lives, healthier lives. And we offer unique products to help them do that. So they will eventually seek that out. But for me, more importantly, we're in the immune industry because for me, being in functional medicine for 45 years ago is when I got started. I'm actually retired from that now. In fact, marketing actually retired me from that industry. And I was happy for it because especially when you find something like this, you can help people exponentially. And that market is immune modulation or immune therapy. That's expected to be a $1.3 trillion market by 2032. It's going straight up. And everyone's looking for that because the last 5 years, people were terrified or had fear. They were a lot of angst, a lot of questions, a lot of what do I do? And there was a lot of information and misinformation. So what it came down to was if you have an immune system that's properly modulated, you are going to be much better off than if not. And so again, we offer a unique product that's been studied by the top health institutions in the world. And once people found that out, when I was talking with them, they said, I want that, I need that. It was very common when I shared that with people that they wanted this product because of what we've been through. So the ability to market something that everybody needs, and most people want it, everyone needs it. Not everyone realizes they need it, but once you talk with them a little bit about what's gone on, and about the importance of the immune system and how it is everything. It is what keeps us here day in and day out. It's what helps us live longer, stronger, better lives. And so whatever tools that we have, whatever resources that we have to do that, it's just common sense to use it, especially when you have a product that costs $39. So it's very, very refreshing to be involved in a company that just gets it. And how it all started was on the pet side, but before that, for thousands of years, it's been known about. In fact, it's way back even in ancient Egypt, they knew about Coriolus Versicolor and used it because it promoted longevity. In ancient Rome, they knew about it and they used it as a health tonic. It was used in Europe throughout the ages. But it was in Asia that it was incorporated into the pharmacopoeia, into many different remedies, and I saw that and worked with it. Because we worked with traditional Chinese medical doctors, we worked with Ayurvedic medical doctors. I studied those disciplines myself. I came to understand the remedies and the efficacy of those remedies. And in functional medicine, you look for cause. You look for what is the cause of the malady. In mainstream medicine these days, it's disease-oriented. It's trying to figure out how to mitigate the symptoms. So pretty much if they can't give you a drug or a surgery to fix the symptoms, they don't have much else to offer. But when you dive deep into functional medicine, into traditional medicines, it's all about figuring out the cause. And we tracked cause back to gut and liver almost 90% of the time. And it was bad then, it's gotten worse now. In the 90s, when they launched GMO foods, and now it's hard to not even find food that is not GMO. And it wasn't genetically modified to be healthier or better for us. It was genetically modified so that they could apply powerful herbicides to it and not affect this plant. And these powerful herbicides, many of them end up not even being able to wash off your food. And the structure of the food is changed so that sometimes, in some cases, it's even foreign to our bodies. It's so different. So it goes down inside of us and affects the gut. And the gut ends up becoming inflamed. It ends up becoming leaky over time because inflammation causes swelling, causes issues. And the foods that most people eat, the ultra-processed foods, even feed that inflammation and accelerate the destruction of the gut tissues. So leaky gut is ubiquitous. Well over 90% of people have some degree of it, and it's literally quite invasive and pervasive and bad. And what that does is it causes our immune system to overwork. The immune system's trying to clean up the mess. And I call it the second line of defense. Those are the macrophages, leukocytes, lymphocytes, etc. They try to gobble these things up. They're precursors for those molecules are in the liver. The liver creates the precursors, and then they're made in various parts of the body. So the first place that those antigen antibody complexes go, which they're called now, because once the antibody grabs the antigen, the foreign invader, what first place it goes is the liver. It's the liver's job to break it down. And when the liver breaks it down into its constituent parts, it's actually overworking and doing way more than it's supposed to do because it already has 600 functions to get everything correct with the blood. So when you're overworking it that way, what happens with the blood? The blood can get off because the liver is not able to function at the level that it needs to. Plus, the precursors aren't being created, so eventually the macrophages run a bit low, and then the body calls the third line of defense, which are T cells and B cells. And there's two generations of T cells. One is pretty accurate. They actually build a template for the invader based on the protein structure. And then that's your immunity. So every time that you have that particular protein structure in your blood, your body's immune system recognizes it and it attacks it. But what if those protein structures are from the dairy you're eating or the wheat you're eating or something else you're eating? Then you're reacting to the food you eat, which isn't a good thing. And it was caused by this leaky gut situation. But now, if it's reacting all the time, what happens? It passes off to the Th2 system. Th2 isn't as discerning. So what happens with Th2? It can try to recognize the protein structure, but it gets a little confused. If it's similar, because a lot of different peptides look similar, it might start reacting to body tissues. If it's in your connective tissues, it could be something like scleroderma or other connective tissue autoimmune disease. If it's the thyroid, it could be Hashimoto's or other thyroid issues. If it reacts to the synovial membrane of your joints, could be rheumatoid arthritis. If it reacts to spinal cord or other nerve, it could be anything from Parkinson's to ALS, or if it's in the peripheral nervous system, MS, all of these things that are exponentially on the rise. And these things are the source. This is what is the cause of it. So you go to a mainstream doctor, they're going to come up with a diagnosis, as they have to, so you can get the visit paid by your insurance. And that diagnosis comes with standard of care. And the standard of care, I guarantee you, is some drug to control the symptom. It doesn't deal with the cause at all. They don't have the time to deal with the cause. It's the frustration of the medical industry. They don't have the time to sit you down and talk about going out and going for a walk every day, getting your diet straight and reducing your stress and mechanisms to do that, having your relationships in your life be less stressful and smoother, and all of these mental kinds of stress that people go through. They don't have the time. In fact, the standard of care, if they step outside of it and even took the time to do that, they could be considered derelict in their duty, in their responsibility. They could actually incur liabilities, and they could even possibly lose their license if they did it enough, because you have to sit within the standard of care, validate your treatments, report back to the insurance company what you did, and it usually has to correspond with some standard of care, which is all dictated by pharmaceutical industry, which produces the drugs that the doctors dispense. So we live in a time that we really need solutions, other solutions that actually deal more with the cause, that actually deal more with keeping us well. That's the beauty of the immune industry, is understanding how powerful the immune system is in keeping us well, keeping us from having to go into those situations where we're in a drug situation. So and people are learning very fast, and they're trying to figure out ways to get their immune system into the top-notch shape. Now, one thing that we have, and going back to the story of how this all started, one of the founders of the company, his mother was diagnosed with a serious lung affliction and went to Sloan Kettering to get it treated. The doctors at Sloan didn't give her a good report. They didn't give a great prognosis. But she wanted treatment. So everything medically possible they did. And at the end of it, it was as the doctors thought. They couldn't do anything. And they gave her 2 months to live. Go home and get your affairs in order. And son, calling family members, happened to call a cousin that was in Japan, working with the Coriolus Versicolor, had worked with the team of scientists, doctors, and researchers that standardized it, and said, we're seeing amazing things in cases like your mother's. Would she try it? Of course, the son said, they're not giving her any hope. How fast can you get it here? So he did. He sent it over. She started taking this capsule. Long story short, 4.5 months later, she's back at Sloan saying, look, I'm here. I'm still alive. Doctors were shocked. And then they wanted to do the test. They ran her through the whole battery of tests, and they found no evidence of disease. So the doctors there said, we need to study this. And so that's right. So on studying it, they found amazing immune system modulation, so amazing that other treatment centers wanted to pick it up and study it as well. MD Anderson, Loma Linda, Harvard, Beth Israel, etc. The American Cancer Society sponsored studies all around North America, and to the tune of hundreds of published studies, all saying the same thing. So now we have ancient wisdom going all the way back to ancient Egypt, because they just knew it worked, and Rome and China and all of these places, they knew it worked, and the ancients were just smart that way. They figured things out. But now we figured out, due to modern technology, how to standardize it around figuring out what was making it work, all of the bioactive polysaccharides, and being able to track those. And they found out that there were over 200 varieties of this amazing mushroom, Coriolus Versicolor. And they all had different variants of potency. So obviously they searched for the one most potent. They started working with it, and they found the different life cycle stages had different levels of potency. So they narrowed it down to the one time it was most potent. It was before it was even technically a mushroom. It's mycelium. So they started working with that, and they found it was very difficult to extract all of these amazing components without damaging them. But through trial and error and modern technology, they came up with a way. And that's what led to the founder's mother clearing out. That's what led to many other people that they recommended it to clearing out. So much so that they became afraid to open a company to distribute it, because the testimonials were off the chain. And they knew that with testimonials like that, regulators would be crawling up one side of them and down the other. So they worried about that. They didn't know if they wanted to encounter that and constantly deal with it. But they knew they had something very special, a very special gift to offer to the world. And by the way, it was brought to the US. It's grown in organic greenhouses in California now. And that strain that was studied, and all of that work that was done around standardizing it, we have that product. We have the product that Sloan and MD Anderson and Loma Linda and Harvard studied, and others studied, because of the family connection. It came to Pack Club 24/7 and this group of individuals. They just didn't know what to do with it. And one day they were having a cookout. One of the cookout people that attended the cookout was sad because he just put his dog down. And people ask why, and he said his dog had cancer, and he was only 5. 2 other people at the cookout said same thing happened to us, and our dogs were too young. They wondered if it worked for pets. They looked into it. They found out that veterinarian schools were already studying it. And it was amazing, the findings. In fact, they were studying it with dogs and cancer. And the dogs given the Coriolus Versicolor were living 3 to 4 times longer than the dogs that were not, with this very aggressive form of cancer. So they knew it worked with pets. They knew it worked with animals. They knew the pet industry was kind of a rough industry in terms of quality. They knew there'd been a lot of compromise, and they thought we could create a very unique product line that was super healthy. But imagine putting this amazing immune modulator, what that would do with pets. And they were right. 8 years ago, they started it. And after a couple of years, there were many, many pet owners that were saying, gosh, we were getting ready to put our dog down, or our cat was really sick, or our horse was over the hill, and we were getting ready to put our horse down. And then they got them started on these products, these treats and these foods, and they would turn around and completely age reverse, like I saw with our dog. So I get it. If I didn't know that they had human product, I would start eating the dog treats, because my dog literally age regressed by at least 3 years. So I understand that these pet owners were calling the company saying, why can't you have a human product that works like this? They said they knew it was human use. It's always been human use before it was pet use. They said, well, we can do it. We'll compromise. We'll go ahead and put human product on the website, but with one condition. We will not allow testimonials from the human side. To this day, that's the case, but still the pet and human sales are about 50-50. So the humans rapidly caught up, because you can't keep us down. And we are hungry, literally hungry, for something that restores us, that gets us to where we can operate at that level that we know we want to, but it's been really hard, and there's so many challenges. And the challenges include 80,000 plus approved chemicals to be used in our food supply. I already mentioned farming. It finds its way into food. It finds its way into our air because of industry, and water, of course, through agriculture and industry. It finds its way into our building materials, the clothing we wear, the personal care items. It's everywhere. We're exposed to hundreds of toxic chemicals before we leave the house in the morning, hundreds of toxic chemicals. You cannot avoid it. It is there. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So that challenges our body's ability to express itself normally in a healthy way. It affects all kinds of things. It affects the gut microbiome. It alters even the DNA expression, or the ability of the DNA to express itself and manifest into all of the things that we are. So it challenges many different mechanisms that we need during the day to maintain metabolism, to keep our blood right, to keep our hormones right, to keep the enzymes and everything correct. We're constantly being challenged for these kinds of things. So we need something to support. We need common sense. And my doctor friends, it's the common sense that they can leave out of the treatment room. Like, get a little exercise every day, go for a walk every day. It's absolutely brilliant for your body, increases your metabolism, your respiration, helps your body to detoxify, all of that does. Get sunshine, it activates the skin, it activates vitamin D production. All of these things are necessary for health and wellness. In addition to that, eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. Eat more from the perimeter of the market rather than the inside with the ultra-processed foods and the foods in boxes and the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and those places. Stay away from those things. Limit the amount of sugar that you intake. Put that to a bare minimum. Keep the dairy products to a minimum as well. They used to say, oh, you needed the dairy for the calcium, but the calcium, magnesium, and phosphate ratios are way off on a cow to human, so it messes with our mineral content. It's better to get your minerals from more vegetable sources. If you do dairy, go to goat because that's more similar to human. Wheat, too much wheat is not good because most of it is GMO. So if you're eating bread, plus the bread is brominated, if it's white flour, it's brominated, and bromine competes with the fluoride, that not the fluoride, the iodine in our bodies, as fluoride does as well. So you're getting bromide, you're getting fluoride, then you're driving your thyroid hormones into extinction. No wonder there's so many thyroid issues in the world today. So there's some common sense things that we can do on a daily basis to improve our health and wellness. And one of those common sense things is taking Coriolus Versicolor on a daily basis. In fact, InForce is the name of the product, and it actually, one capsule per 50 pounds of body weight daily, that's maintenance. Take it on an empty stomach. If you're dealing with something like so many people are, you double it because you want to make sure it's getting in the blood. You want to make sure you have enough. You want to make sure that it's a clinical levels inside your blood that's actually making a difference. So double it. We've had many people that started like 150 pounds. They were taking 3 a day, and they just kept taking 3 a day. And I said, and I knew they were dealing with different kinds of things. And I said, well, maybe kick it, maybe double it. And when they did, they said, they're like, wow. And they don't want to go back. They don't want to go back to maintenance. And I get that because you begin to notice that actually it does make a difference. If it's life-threatening, they recommend times 4 or 5. And at $39 a bottle, that is one of the cheapest therapies for life-threatening situations that there is. But what it's doing is it's not treating or curing or mitigating disease. The product itself does not do that. What it does is it supports your immune system. What it does is it modulates the immune system. You have some conditions like some autoimmune conditions. Of course, you may know this if you have one. Your doctor will be saying, don't take something that stimulates your immune system because it's already overacting. Remember that Th2 that's reacting to things that it should not, and that's creating an inflammation on certain body tissues? That's autoimmunity. So you don't want to stimulate that to happen, but you want to modulate it, which is to get it right, to get it reset, to get it to function normally, to get it to function as God intended it to function. That's what's happening. And in the process, it also supports gut function. Remember all that damage of the gut that we found was a cause of many different conditions, the kind of the initiating cause. It's amazing to support gut function. It's amazing to support liver function, nerve, brain, etc. So imagine if you're supporting all of those systems of your body, including the immune system. Imagine what's going to happen. They knew it in ancient China. On the Compendium of Materia Medica in China in 1578, it's basically the traditional Chinese medicine book. In China, it's called Bin Cao Gang Mo. And it says that the cloud mushroom, which is what they call Coriolus Versicolor, is beneficial to one's spirit, Xin, which they call Qin, and vital energy, which they call Qi, and strengthens one's tendons and bones, Qing. If cloud mushroom is taken for a long time, it will make one vigorous and contribute to a long life. They knew it then, back in 1578 and before. So they knew it was common sense then. It's even more common sense today because of all of the challenges that we're going through in the world just to maintain our health and wellness. And if we look around, we all know people struggling because they're not well. And it's not surprising because there's so many ways that we're challenged. So it's just one of those common sense things that we can do. And as a community of folks, we have the power to change the world because that's what will happen with this group of people. As word spreads and as it becomes exponential, which it will, I've seen it happen before. And right now, this is the nucleus of folks, the people that are on this call. You're the nucleus. You're the pioneers. You're the forerunners. You have knowledge that people want. They want to pull it from you. Once they understand what you know, they'll want to pull it from you. They'll want to know what you are doing, what you know. And it's very simple. You share your link with them. And if you're new on this call, ask for the person who sent you to this call, ask for their link. and click on that link. Don't type it in, because there's a lot of podcasters out there that are trying to scoop people up. Podcasters love this company because it pays so well. And there's at least two, maybe three, I know, that have over 1 million followers that do podcasts and regularly talk about our products. So obviously they have the money to optimize their website. And if you type something into Google, you run the risk of them actually, their website coming up. So make sure you click on the link. And if you're sending someone a link, make sure you click on the link that's in your back office, copy and paste it into a text or an email and send it. And whoever gets it, click on the link, scroll down, or you can go to the menu, either one. You can find in the menu, it says rewards. And under rewards, it'll give you a couple of options. If you scroll down, you can find Join Us down below. It's a little bit hidden. It doesn't talk a lot about the marketing aspect on the website on purpose, because, it's customer driven. And there are people that if they see that it's marketed, they will click out. So I think it's brilliant that it's very customer driven. In fact, this company has 16 customers to every distributor. So it's very customer oriented. There's an 85.5% retention of those customers because they know it works. And they even prove it to themselves on their next physical exam. So you have a couple of choices if you click Join Us or the rewards in the menu, and that is advocate or influencer. Advocate pays on two levels, 20% and 5%. And for some people, that's great. If you're a podcaster, you may love that. And there's no requirement to buy anything ever. You do have to pay about $15 a month for the app, for use of the app and all the other marketing materials the company generates and supports you with. But that's it. You don't ever have to buy anything. But I think it's just, again, common sense to choose influencer, because you get paid to infinity. Plus you get these great bonuses. Plus you qualify for revenue sharing. That's very generous. And it's an amazing compensation plan that pays an actual 55%. And I've never seen that in the industry. And it really brings me back home to how this company came up with the name Pet Club. And what is at the heart of that? And the people that founded this company, why would they come up with that name? I believe because they wanted something that denoted community. And it wanted something that embodied the spirit of ownership. We all will co-own this company as we revenue share. And it's not a token revenue share, it's significant. As you build your team, you'll see that. So you make those two choices and then work with us. Now you're on the team. We do this call for new people primarily, kind of gives a little bit of an overview of what we're about, what started this company. We do this call Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays at this time. The company does a call every morning, a 10-minute call. It's great. They have testimonials, they have motivation, they have just great content for 10 minutes. Amazing. That's Monday through Friday. They do trainings on Monday and Wednesday and on Saturdays. So every day of the week except Sunday, you can tune into something going on in this company. And there's a couple of great websites. PetSystemGuide.com. Great website. You can go down a lot of rabbit holes in that website, PetSystemGuide.com. Keep clicking around and you'll learn a lot. There's another website, LearnAboutPC.com. Judy Womack put that up. She's here tonight, right there on the sailboat. I can see her. She got the heart up. Thank you, Judy. It's an amazing website because it's a quick look, easy, everything's referenced. If you want to know something or learn something or see something quick, it's all there. So thank you, Judy Womack. LearnAboutPC.com. We always call on people to give a testimonial or two on these calls. Sometimes I warn people ahead of time, or ask them ahead of time. But tonight was one of those nights I didn't have time. I was out working in the yard a lot today. And I came in and had the little bite to eat and then got on this call. So if you have a testimonial, step up and we'll hear it before we close out.
Hi, Dr. Jerry. It's Darianne. Can I give you a quick one?
Thank you, Derek. Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited. I just got back from visiting the gentleman I told you about 3 weeks ago that has a major condition, rectal, liver, and lungs. I can't say the word because we're not supposed to.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so he's been 21 days now on the InForce Coriolus Versicolor, as well as the Coriolus Versicolor Plus, because his wife, a retired nurse, wanted him to also have some of the rice sheep mushroom extract. His blood work came back, and also he's been taking chemo treatments. Okay. He's had this condition since last September. He was pretty well bedridden. And after the first 3 days, he noticed some energy and was walking around, and she told him to lay down and rest more. She was concerned, but he wouldn't. She put him on 12 a day. How it started out, 3 a day, because he, unfortunately, with his condition, ended up with losing part of his bowels, and she didn't want to worry about loose bowels with his stoma, etc. So started at 3 per day, gradually increased to 4 for a couple of days, and then as of June 7th, that was May 29th, then June 7th, he was up to 10 per day, June 9th, 11, and June 12th, 12 a day. She gives him 4 times a day of the InForce Coriolus Versicolor and 2 of the InForce Plus. Here's the results. He was told the day after they started him, he went to see his physician, the oncologist, and they had told him, don't use this product. It's going to interfere with his treatments. She went the next day, though, down to the pharmacy, and the pharmacist told her, absolutely not. This will not interfere with the treatments. So she said, good, because I've already started him on it. What happened was his blood work came back good. His hemoglobin levels are up. His platelet levels are up. They're just waiting to find out on Tuesday about the CEA. They want that down. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's something that's supposed to be down. Would be good. His improvements are his depression is gone. His demeanor is much better. His appetite has really improved. His coloring has come back, and his energy levels are off the chart. So we're all pretty well excited, and his new name is Fred the Energizer Bunny.
Well, it's interesting.
This gentleman's 65 years old.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that his physician said, do not take it because it will interfere with treatment. His physician obviously didn't understand. In Japan now, they're required to do it no matter what other therapy they're using, because they understand what it does is protects and modulates the immune system. So they're required to use it.
Yes, thank you. I looked into that mushroomstudies.co website. There was quite a bit of information about how Japan's been using that, and I thought that was phenomenal. It's been several years they've been using it, and I do share that when I'm talking with folks. So thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you, Darianne. I really appreciate it. Anyone else want to jump in before we wrap?
Yeah, Dr. Jerry, one of the things people don't realize is that when you've got family and you've got kids and everything else, about preventing things that could happen in the future, but everything that today that they call a disease, and they've labeled it and everything else, can all be traced back to parasite. I ran across a guy the other day, and he said, well, I do a parasite cleanse every month. I said, do you know what you just said? Do you know how it works? Because when they go in and destroy a parasite, it explodes. Everything in that parasite just goes right straight into the blood. And
Yeah.
people don't realize that. And so people just need to be more educated, and they take responsibility for their own health, including their family and even their children, not just their pets. So thanks for letting me throw that out there, but just remember that everything out there in the medical field can be related back to what they call a disease, to parasites. And that's what's amazing about the study on the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. But thank you for a little bit of a shout out.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. H. Yeah, with a properly modulated immune system, parasites are really good at hiding from your immune system. They do things like biofilm, and they spore form and things like that. So they hide. But a properly modulated immune system targets them and keeps your body clear of them. And the great thing is it knows when the parasite's bad and it deals with it. So our immune system is key to everything. And as people learn that and understand, if they want to be well, you've got to have a properly modulated immune system. They will gravitate to what we have. And we owe it to our children, to our grandchildren, and to generations to come. Because animals are, their life expectancy, they're the canary in the coal mine. Their life expectancy is about half of what it was as recently as the 1970s. And human beings are headed to that same arena within our children's or grandchildren's lifetimes. So we owe it to them to get the information out, to turn this around, and we can be a big part of that movement. And it's really hard with just one person, but with a group of people like this, and this company attracts the right kind of people, people with heart, people that take this mission on. It's great people. It's just so amazing. I feel so blessed to be a part of it. And I'm blessed to be a part of this call with all of you as well. And I just want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. And we'll be back on Tuesday with Testimonial Tuesday, and we'll have lots more testimonials then. God bless you guys. Thank you for showing up here. And if you're new, don't hesitate. Don't let the grass grow under your feet. Get involved. Join the club, because it's rolling with or without you. Better with you. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dr. Jerry.
Thanks, Dr.
Thank
Jerry.
you.
Thank you so much.
God bless everybody.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you. Bye.